You there? You listening? Hey there, folks. Jim Hart here with another daily legal tip here for you. I'm an estate planning attorney in Cary, North Carolina, and today I want to talk to you about how to pick guardians for your kids if you don't know who to pick. And excuse me while I look off the screen. I've got some notes here. I'm just going to put them someplace where it doesn't look like I'm completely reading them. I'm not reading them, but I've got some things here on the screen. But I just wrote a blog post about this. Because one of my wife's friends recently mentioned to her that they didn't have an estate plan, and when my wife asked her why, it was because she said that she just didn't know who to pick as guardians for her kids, and that concerned me because if you don't pick a guardian for your children, and something were to happen to you and your spouse, like for instance, my wife and I went out on a date night on Friday night. Well, what happens if on our way home, we got hit by a drunk driver or something and were incapacitated or worse and didn't make it home? Well, who's going to watch our kids? That's why you need a guardian. You need somebody in place who can take care of your kids when you're not available to do that. And so what I did today is in this blog post is I kind of mapped out a list of 5 or 6 steps that you can take to help yourself pick a guardian for your children. And if this is the reason that's keeping you from putting together an estate plan, then I would strongly consider or strongly urge you to consider changing your mindset on this and think about how much worse it would be for your kids if you did not have a guardian in place, and instead some judge who you've never seen, you don't know, is taking evidence from people that are fighting over your kids maybe, or who have never met your kids before, or perhaps your kids end up in foster care. I mean, it's really not a good situation if this is what happens. So hopefully you'll never be in that situation, but in the extremely unlikely event that it does happen, it's kind of like buying life insurance, right? So my wife and I each have life insurance policies out on each other, and hopefully we'll never have to cash those in. If we don't have to cash those in, that's a good thing, right? But we've got them there just in case, because we know that if something were to happen to one of us, the other person would need that money to take care of us and the children if something happened to the other person. Or if something happened to both of us, that money is there to take care of our kids and set them up for hopefully a productive life and let them know we love them. So that's why you do these type of things. You don't do it because you need it. You don't do it because you're going to benefit from it today. You do it because you want that gift for that child that's in your life, or children in your lives, that you want to make sure are taken care of if anything were to ever happen to you. So, and this is especially important if you're a single parent. So if you're recently through a divorce, or maybe the spouse lives out of state or something like that, I should say your ex-spouse lives out of state, then this is something you definitely want to make sure that you take care of. So how do you exactly pick a guardian if you don't know who to pick? I mean, let's say our situation, for example. My wife and I live here in North Carolina, and we don't have any family here, and all our family is in Ohio. So who do we pick? How do we go about doing this? So first thing is, don't freak out. Take your time, not too much time, but take your time and make sure you get the right person in place. But there is somebody out there who is there for your kids that is going to watch them. So the first thing is, make a list. Just start brainstorming a list of, let's say, up to 5 people who might be able to watch your kids. Remember, you don't need to worry about, at this point, geographic location or financial stability or anything like that. Basically, you're just thinking, who can watch my kids if I can't? And you can revise this list later. You can always go back and change it. I mean, this is not set in stone, but it's something that's going to be in place that's going to keep a judge from making this decision, or that's going to keep your kids from going into foster care. So that's why you're doing this. So let's say, okay, you've gone through that and you can only come up with not 5 people. Well, that's not great, but it's better than nothing. Well, let's go back, and step 2 is let's see if we can come up with 2 people, maybe 2 people. Don't freak out. Just 2 people that might be able to watch your kids. And again, remember, the end goal here is you're trying to give a list of people that can watch your kids, so that some man or woman in a black robe doesn't have to make this decision for you, because that's not what you want. So step 3 is, maybe you're still stuck. Maybe you still don't know. You're just racking your brains and you really just don't have anybody that can help you in this situation. That's unfortunate, but it does happen to some people. They just don't have family. You know, you're far away from family. Maybe your family lives in Europe or Japan or Asia or someplace, and or Australia. And I do know people that are here, and their families are all from other parts of the world. That happens. And it might take those family members a long time to get here. You still need some temporary first responders. And so that's not great. But let's take a minute, let's step back and let's think, well, is there anyone out there that you would want to handle the financial matters related to your kids? You know, who do you want to hold the purse? Who do you want to be the person that's going to pay for things for your kids, that's going to provide them an allowance each week, that's going to pay for their clothes, pay for their schooling, pay for whatever you want them to pay for? Who's that going to be? Because that might be somebody who can also, that you might be able to entrust with their care as well. All right. Step 4 is you're still having issues, you're still having problems, and you haven't been able to come up with anybody on the list. Well, let's work backwards now. Let's think about people that you absolutely would not want raising your kids. And you know there's people out there like that. You know there are. And just remember, make this list of people and then say, okay, are these people better or worse than the foster care system? Because the foster care system is where your kids are going if you don't pick somebody, and nobody else is going to step forward. And if you can't find anybody that you think would be a good person to watch your kids, then chances are somebody that you don't want watching them are the people that are going to end up with them. So make a list of people you absolutely do not want watching your kids, and see if any of them maybe would fit the mold of somebody you might want, and maybe think twice about that. All right, so step 5. By now, hopefully you've got a few people listed. Take some time, think about their qualities, think about the things. Do they share your religious beliefs? Where do they live geographically? Are they going to follow your diet? Like my wife and I we follow a plant-based diet, so we would want somebody to raise our kids that's willing to do that for them. You know, that's very important to us. You know, are they Browns fans or Steelers fans, right? You know, because you definitely don't want the Steelers fans. That's going to be on your do not want list, right? And then you can apologize to your kids that you're Browns fans, and that's fine. But start making that list. First, second, third, however many people you have, and start thinking that through. Now, step 6, if you haven't already, you need to start putting this down in writing. You need to think about your potential guardians, and you need to codify those choices in writing. And you need to put them down, and you need witnesses to sign off on that. You know, it's as simple as saying, I nominate, you know, these 3 people to be my temporary guardians. If something should happen to me, make a list, type it out, witness it, have it witnessed, notarize it is even better, and make sure you give that document to whoever it is that you want to be your temporary guardians. In the blog post that I wrote today, and I'm going to include a link here, I actually put a link to all the stuff I've talked about here and all the different techniques I've talked about in figuring out who's going to watch your kids. And then you can contact us, and we actually have a program. It's called Keep Your Kids Safe, KEAP. That stands for Kids Emergency Action Plan. And we can do that for you and help you get your kids safe. We prepare cards that you can put in your wallet, cards that you can put in your glove box, letters that we can send to everybody that might watch your kids, and all sorts of things that go with this that you would need to make sure your kids are safe. So hopefully you can hear me, because I'm using a different mic today, and I have no way of knowing whether or not it's working or not, but hopefully you can. I guess I'll find out in a minute here when I close this down. But that's it for today. I'll be back tomorrow with another tip. I hope you're having a great weekend, great week, folks, and we'll talk again tomorrow. Take care. Bye-bye.